All right, hey, how's it going, guys? So I told myself I would show up no matter what for 30 days in a row, and today is day 5, and so far it's going good. And I had a long day today, and all the kids have started back to school, and it's like all of a sudden, everything comes to like a halt because there's so much more responsibility. You got all this stuff going on. Everybody's starting up their new projects. They're wanting you to help them. They had made plans like weeks before, last month even, and you forgot because of family stuff and whatever else is going on, and it all hits at the same time. So today we are going to be talking about some Sweet Maria's coffee, the stuff that I would recommend if you were going on right now. If I was to tell a friend, they say, "Hey, Mike, what coffee would you recommend if I was to go to Sweet Maria's and buy some green coffee right now? Some green coffee to be able to enjoy it." And I'll even talk about the one version of coffee that not a lot of people really look too highly on, me included. Like that's how I used to think, and it's decaf. So we'll go over that in this video coming up. All right. So first things first. Let me tell you the best coffee that I can recommend right now. Okay. So if I was to tell you to get any of the coffees, it would be this one right here. It would be the Guatemala, the first one you should start with. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's the Guatemala San Diego Buena Vista Bourbon. I don't know what the QR code will show you right there. You can even take a screenshot and read this yourself if you would like. But that stuff right there, it's going to give you the perfect, if you're going to roast this, you can roast this. You don't need to have a popcorn popper like what I have right here. Okay. You don't need to use that. You don't like, you can roast it yourself on a pan and like a cast iron skillet, a frying pan, as long as it's stainless steel. I wouldn't do it with nonstick, with a wooden, like a wooden spoon, metal spoon, like it doesn't really matter, but something that can, stir all the beans up and keep them rotating around the pan. And with that flame on those beans, I've had really good experiences with 20 minutes of pan time, right? Like those beans on a pan, constantly stirring them. You're gonna have to be doing quite a bit of work stirring those and flipping them as much as possible. You're gonna get some scorching because it's not as consistent and as good at stirring the beans as the popcorn popper is that I use here. By the way, you can get a popcorn popper from Sweet Maria's for $135, something like that, and it comes with 8 pounds of coffee. You can't really choose your coffee, but they will give you a good assortment of whatever they have on hand. And you can tell them that you want just like regular coffee or espresso coffee. All coffees can be used to make espresso, but there's certain coffees that are better as espresso because of the way espresso is made. And also the way you roast the coffee is going to make the espresso a little bit better as well. So with these coffees, you'll be doing really good if you get this Guatemala coffee. Right now, I don't think they have it available. So there's another version of Guatemala coffee on Sweet Maria's website right now. You could get. I would get like a pound, maybe 2, maybe 3. It's amazing. It's got. Let's see. I'll tell you what it's got, and I'll tell you if I can actually taste these notes. It says attractive, bittersweet. Flavor profile, delicious dark chocolate aspects, cocoa powder, vanilla caramel, Brazil nut, molasses, tenor toned hints. I don't know what that is. City to full city. In other words, it's good for like medium light to medium dark roast, or even a dark roast. Good for espresso. All right. So if you go on their website and you see like a bunch of like what, you'll look at it and think, oh my gosh, what am I getting into? What is this? Wet process, dry process, honey process. Just right now, stick with wet or washed. Sorry, not wet process, washed coffee, and you'll be fine. That's basically what you get normally in the store. You just don't know it. but most coffee is washed. So you'd be good to go if you get just washed coffee. The other one I would go with, if you wanted to mix it up and make your own blend, do this right here. You do a 50-50 blend. You could do a 66-33 blend, or 30 or 34 blend, whatever the numbers work out to. You can do that if you want. So this would be like 30% and the other one 70%, something like that. That's fine too. But this is the next one I would recommend. It's the Guatemala dry process aguacantes. I'm not sure how you say that, but this is a dry process, right? This is the one where they just basically take the beans, they take the berries, the fruit that the coffee comes in, they lay them all out, they let them dry out with the fruit on them still, and don't wash them instantly, okay? And then they'll later on clean off the fruit and expose the beans, so that way you can then enjoy your coffee. But it takes on that berry flavor more so. So this has, if you like fruity coffee, this is gonna have that berry fruit kind of flavor. It's gonna be very good. And if you're thinking, wait, but Mike, I've heard that people say that if you don't like acidic flavor in coffee, then maybe you should not do anything when it says there's a characteristic of some sort of fruit in the flavor profile. And for some of them, yes, that is true, and maybe even this is true. That's true, right? But I love this, and I don't really like the fruity, acidic, profiles. This doesn't really have that. There are some coffees that have the acidic profile, and I stay away from those. But what it comes down to is how you roast it. So, or how you also are, using it when you consume it. How are you making the coffee? What's your brew method? What's all that all matters, right? So what you're looking for is balance. You do need acidity, because the acidity will help all the chocolatey flavors and all those the bitter flavors. It'll help them kind of be balanced as well. Otherwise, your cup's going to be too bitter also, right? So as long as you have made your coffee well, you should have a balanced cup of coffee. And some coffees do tend to be more so on the bitter side or on the acidic side, but that's a matter of preference. It's fine if you like that. If you like those, it's great. For me, I like a more of a balanced flavor, and that's what this has, and along with the Guatemala San Diego Buena Vista bourbon. Okay, so both of those, either one you can be totally fine with. This is the only one that says excellent espresso. Now, if they don't have this, which I don't think they do right now, in January 5th, 2026, it comes back around. Hopefully they'll get some more of this back. But you can go with an Ethiopia, a dry Ethiopia. I think it's like the Mata Mountains version of that, and something like that. And that's going to probably be about the same as this, because it's got kind of the same flavor profile. Might even be better, because I guess it has more of it's forgiving. It's a very forgiving coffee, because it will allow you to make it as just a regular coffee or as an espresso, which is kind of interesting. So the other one I would recommend, I like this one quite a bit. I made a pretty light roast out of this, and this is the Costa Rica Chiripo Cafe. I guess that's how you say it. And you can take a picture of that or scan the QR code if you get a chance, and it'll take you there, hopefully. Some from sweetmarias.com. Really good stuff. And this one right here, it's the El Salvador Antiquaza Tabby. Everybody loved this at my church. I make coffee for my church on Sundays, which is why I started roasting coffee myself, because it's cheaper than buying coffee, because I was spending about $14 to $15, sometimes $17 per bag of coffee, and I was getting like 12 ounces of coffee. I figured, well, why don't I just go ahead and order this coffee, because it's $7, $8, $9 per pound. After you roast a pound of coffee, it ends up being somewhere around 13 ounces, something like that. So you're still not getting like a full pound of coffee after you roast this, right? You're getting a pound of green coffee, but after it's roasted, it's gonna lose weight, right? So, for instance, if I roast coffee, I want it to be 18.65 when I start. So that way I end up with a pound of, roasted coffee. And it should be around there. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes like 15.65, something like that. That's still fine too. Um, this El Salvador coffee is amazing. You'll love the flavor profile on this. It's great for espresso. I love this stuff. This is so good. This surprised me so much. I was happy that I got this. And I ordered more. I just ordered 5 pounds of it along with the Ethiopia dry process that I was just talking about. This is washed, and I believe it's washed. Pretty sure it's washed. You can go check that for yourself. But I think it's gonna be good because both the Guatemala coffees that I really like are sold out. So did I order maybe I did not order the Ethiopia. I'm not sure. I think I did though. Pretty sure I did. I'm gonna try blending those together and see how I like them. I hope I did. If not, I ordered the other Guatemala that they have right there, or there right now. This is the Sweet Maria's Espresso Monkey. It's their in-house blend. I really liked it when I made it in a pan. I made it in a cast iron pan myself. I roasted it. That was like one of the first coffees. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make this Espresso Monkey because I want to try it, and I really liked it. It was good stuff. The reason I started to do this is because I found out that green coffee will keep the longest, because I was looking for a way to be able to store coffee if we had like an emergency and there was no way to get any coffee. It's one of the things you want to have, right? So I got 3 pounds of coffee from Sweet Maria's back in 2020, I think, somewhere around then. When everybody was locked in, I was like, okay, it's time to set up my emergency fund. I waited or my emergency preparedness kit. I waited long enough, so I've got everything now, but I actually went through and made the coffee that had been sitting for a couple years, and Espresso Monkey was the first one, and I really liked it. I haven't been able to make it to where I still like it. This is a blend. They blend this for body. It says balance between high and low tones, fruited chocolate roast flavors, and slightly rustic fruited accent notes. Our roast goal in the beginning stages of second crack. We never let it roll, so we recommend full city plus to light Vienna roast. You're supposed to make this dark. This is supposed to be a dark roast, and maybe that's why. But I think I made it to where it wasn't a dark roast, and I think I really liked it when I first did it. I don't remember, but I can recommend this if you want something that you don't have to worry about. This is going to taste good. It's going to taste like the coffee that you know already, okay? The Sweet Maria's Espresso Monkey. And here's your QR code there. Okay? And the last one that I'm going to recommend for you guys. No, second to last. I haven't talked about Sierra Madre yet. And that's the decaf. Ethiopique. I think that's how you say it. This stuff surprised me. So I mixed this and I mixed Espresso Monkey, and it made a really good blend for me. I blended the blend. It says a velvety texture shot, bittersweet and fruited with long lasting finish. Excuse me, chocolate coated blueberry, raspberry, lace truffles, cherry liqueur, and creamy bittersweet ganache. Full city to full city plus. Good for espresso. Medium to medium dark is what you're gonna want to make this. So I think if you try this and you think it's too fruity, too something, maybe mixing it with Espresso Monkey, or maybe even the Salvador that I showed you here, the Antiqueza, I think that's how you say it, might be the way to go. So it's really good stuff. Okay, consider this. It's the Ethiopique's version 2.0. Amazing stuff. Okay. Now, if you want to be able to enjoy an espresso at night, or, a latte, something late night, you want to set the tone with your wife or your loved one or whatever, and you want to just have a good, night by a fire. You're outside. You don't feel like having hot chocolate with the kids. They're having hot chocolate, and You just want something that won't make you stay up all night. Or like me, if you do, I can sleep, right? But when I wake up in the morning after I've drank coffee at night, I notice that I'm tired in the morning. So maybe I'm not sleeping as well, even though I know I can go to sleep. Maybe I'm not sleeping as well as I could have had I not drank the coffee. So that's why I use this. I couldn't find a bag like I saw from Sweet Maria's, like I had from Sweet Maria's. I think I tossed it. I must have thrown it away. But this is my go-to when they get it back in stock. Please don't buy it all. But this is done with a Swiss water process. I don't know if they call it that, but it is something like it. They don't use chemicals to withdraw the caffeine from the beans, like some do. I think there's two other processes that they use to withdraw caffeine from beans, the coffee beans, the green coffee beans. So, and the third process is Swiss water process. That I believe they just use water. And so they say that the other ones they use chemicals to withdraw the caffeine, and there's like slight traces of or slight traces of the chemicals that they leave behind. But I don't want any traces, right? I don't want any no traces, slight traces. I don't care if there was like hardly like a minuscule little bit of a trace. I don't want any trace. So, no traces of in any chemicals or anything that are going to be in this. So that's how they get the caffeine out. The bean that Mexico has produced here. I wish that there was a way to get the Sierra Madre. I believe they probably have a Sierra Madre coffee. They're just not bringing it over to Sweet Maria's, maybe. I don't know. But if you see a Sierra Madre, coffee bean available for sale, a way to buy the beans, buy them, either decaf or not decaf. These things are so good, amazing. Like it's the most like any like it feels like this is what coffee should taste like. That's what it is. And it's like there's just something about it. It's just amazing. So it's good with milk. It's good by itself. If you roast this right, it's gonna taste amazing. So I made it City Plus. This was like a medium roast, like kind of like on the lighter side. I've had it as a darker, like Full City to Full City Plus, which is dark, medium to dark roast, and it's good either way. So I love this stuff, and even the smell. This has been in the freezer. I have I think like one shot in here that I can still use. So I kept it. But yeah, by the way, you can freeze your beans, your roasted beans. You freeze them, and they'll be good. I believe for like a couple months, maybe even up to 6 months. So, guys, hopefully I've helped you somehow figure out what beans to get over at Sweet Maria's. I roast these beans, and I show you guys in my videos, the different profiles I go through. I'm not a professional at roasting. I just do this at home because I love the process of doing it. And I love showing people new things and exposing you to things that you can do to help yourself, right? You don't have to rely on anybody else. And I love that. I believe that there's some sort of farm gate or something like that Sweet Maria's does for the farmers to where they get paid a better wage. And I'm not sure how they do it. I need to look more into that. But they do care about the farmers. I do too. But there's a lot to talk about when it comes to that and the coffee industry and how it's regulated. And there's so much history there. Like just crazy history with like such deep roots. And I don't think that anything can be done about the way coffee is being filtered. Like we probably could have even better coffee than what we have, really, to be honest, if it wasn't for the different policies that are in place right now to keep us from being able to get the coffee because of the way they do things. Now, I'm not absolutely sure, but I'm assuming that's the case. I just know back in the day, to be able to regulate the industry, some government was holding back coffee to raise prices, and they were burning coffee to raise the cost, to raise prices because of supply and demand. So if the supply is high, the cost of the coffee goes down. If the coffee is in short supply, coffee goes up, right? So they have to regulate it. It has to be highly regulated because of a lot of different reasons. But I think that the farmers should be paid more for what they are doing. But it's a very delicate situation. And we have to talk about that later because I've shared all the coffee that I have here. And I have another one here, but I'm not going to recommend it. I haven't been able to get a good cup out of that stuff yet. But anyway, all these you can feel rest assured that these will be good for you in your cup. So, all right, my name is Mike, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe for more. Take care. Bye.